Warframe has been in the top 20 top sellers and most played games on Steam for the last decade. It is notoriously difficult to make a successful game in this live service genre and to stay relevant for this long. But if done right, it can be incredibly rewarding. So here's my short opinion on why Warframe is so successful. When you are starting out in Warframe for the first time, you notice two things immediately. The art style is totally unique and the gameplay is incredibly smooth. The tone is dark and gritty, the sound is punchy and the atmosphere feels deep. Playing for a few more hours, you're fighting your first boss, getting some of the early gear and learning the base features of the game. But when you open up the start chart, you realize just how deep this game really is. 25 planets each with its own style, a huge amount of lore, many different playstyles like melee, tank, open world, space combat, over 60 warframes, 500 plus weapons, more than 30 game modes, player housing, insanely deep build crafting, endless customization, and all that without ever hitting a paywall. It is a story about a futuristic solar system in complete conflict and mystery. The game guides you along the star chart, unlocking various quests and gear, presenting the scale of this weird game. Once you are familiar with the instance-style gameplay and the characters are connecting to an overarching plot, you pick a favorite loadout while probably feeling a little overwhelmed by all the different features. Modding, resources, building and leveling, but the best advice is to just follow the in-game quest guide. You can't miss anything in this game. Even if you rush through a story quest, most of them are replayable anyways. For me, Warframe has 1,000 different reasons to enjoy it. There are so many different playstyles and once a specific one clicks for you, Warframe offers probably the fairest free-to-play experience in any live service game. There's fishing, spelunking, clan building, racing and even legally distinct Flappy Birds. The sheer amount of content and deep, well-written story is just a tiny part of why you will love spending time here. There are no raids or any meaningful PvP, but many like the approach that any content can be played either solo or in seamless matchmade co-op. There are difficult endgame missions, but a big theme here is definitely power creeping, and it still balances content around it well enough that it won't feel trivial. You can start the game at 2 different points, which later connect, but I recommend to play the Duviri one later on, since it will make much more sense for the story. After ranking up for a few days, new equipment will pile on so quickly, even the notorious building times of up to 72 real-time hours won't be any problem, since you won't even have time to level and try all the stuff before the next batch is ready to be built. If you wanted to, you could play the game from the lowest to highest rank without spending a single cent, and still get every piece of gear, every mod, even skins and cosmetics. But if you are far into the game, almost everyone I met wants to spend money just to support the developers. I traded for around 50,000 platinum. I'm never short on premium currency, but I spent my money here because it feels deserved. The bundles are extremely generous as well. Many times the exhaustive grind is brought up as a negative, which is true at some points. But later on it's so easy to skip it entirely with premium currency that can be traded with other players completely for free. Or min-max setups that speed things up significantly. And the gameplay while farming for stuff offers so many different fun playstyles, it's very easy to switch it up before it gets boring. The tone of the game is really serious and authentic. The story gets dark quickly, and it respects the player's intelligence without providing much handholding or on-the-nose storytelling. To compare it to some other big games in that niche, I played Destiny for over 500 hours, and the way this game earns its money compared to Warframe just feels annoying and toxic. Constant paywalls, removing old paid content, pre-order bonus and premium season pass made me stop playing, even after buying most of the expansions a few years back. And of course the constant pop-ups for the shop, new exotics or expansions just ruins the experience. Trying to pick it back up never worked out because the seasonal narrative just gives me constant FOMO. The game moved on and there's no way for me to catch up besides an insane time commitment. I still love Destiny, and I regularly watch creators raid or talk about expansions. It's just not fun to play myself anymore, and many share that sentiment, especially after the recent expansion introduced tier-based loot and the light level reset to 0. It's common for creators praising the new systems to get heavily criticized and downvoted. The economy seems unfit for players who don't grind all day, and the majority of players simply don't have the time the developers ask them of. It's even worse somehow in full-price games, where skins or gear costs way more than anything in Warframe. Recent Call of Duties or any Ubisoft game which have an upfront cost of 60 or more have worse monetization. Most other games don't even allow you to touch premium currency without spending real money. It seems like the perfect blueprint for how to make a successful live service is here, but nobody replicates it properly. The recent First Descendant copied some of Warframe's system like the modding almost one-to-one. It just added paywalls everywhere, without a reasonable way to achieve it for free. The grind to get an ultimate character, which is basically the equivalent to a prime version of a Warframe, takes hundreds of hours. It basically forces you to pay up. I can guarantee you that if you are a new Tenno and you ask in region chat for some prime gear, someone will just give it to you for free. I see this happen almost daily. I think what Warframe does so well is that it feels like it doesn't force you to play. You can enjoy it at your own pace completely for free without FOMO, all while offering some of the best gameplay, graphics, narrative, music and more. No intrusive monetization. They built this game for over 13 years and all of it is there for you to experience, and it's developing in a pace that is simply unmatched. The early parts of the game are sometimes a little rough because they are so old, but they are constantly improving that part too. The performance is great. It runs very well on everything like on mobile, Switch, consoles, Windows and Linux, while still looking amazing. There is no annoying anti-cheat that degrades performance, and bugs are hotfixed almost instantly. The game has seamless cross-save and cross-play. The community of Warframe is known as one of the best of any game. The only bad interaction I've ever had was when someone forgot he sold an item already, so he blocked me instantly, but it was more funny than annoying. A thing that is known in the community is that people help early Tennos by giving out free items. This happened to me with the Paris Prime very early on, which I still use years later. The seamless trading system should be in every game. It connects players and rewards heavy grind with premium currency. One thing that is nice is that players can create skins on Steam, and if they collect enough votes, the skins will be added to the game. Any purchase of that skin will give them a share of that money. Many people earn a living just from that. Same as artworks that are often added to the game as profile pictures or decorations. It just feels like the community is truly part of the game. The developers, Digital Extremes, are fairly well known, even outside the Warframe world, from various funny clips or crossovers to other games like Balatro, PUBG or Super Smash Bros. The whole team isn't shy about speaking of the state of the industry or mentioning other games. They know and respect that people don't just want one single game to play, and most have a life and limited time. So the only way they make you come back is by releasing interesting updates, not by time-gating content. It sounds weird, but it feels good to know that they are also playing games and understand the medium. It's too often that a random representative talks about gaming with a complete lack of understanding of what makes it great, showing just how out of touch those big studios really are. Especially after hearing stories about how some forbid naming and comparing to other titles, or the internal drama surrounding them. The creative director, Rebecca, is a complete nerd, and Warframe is so much better for it. Just one look at her office shows you what kind of person she is. Same as the CEO, Steve, who to this day keeps gushing about the code and their engine, while he still actively works on their games. They don't force weird politics, mistreat loved characters, or chill out for recent trends in gaming. If you watch any of their live streams, you will see just how earnest and involved each of them are in their game. They openly talk about mistakes and actually listen to feedback. One big example is when they launched the Heirloom collection. Higher tier, more expensive skins. They were originally only available for a limited amount of time for real money, but after community feedback they made it permanently available and sold for platinum. And they famously removed money sinks or often revamped the shop for extra fairness. If you decide to pick up Warframe, don't spend any money on it at first. Everything is free. Spend it later on if you are sure it's well deserved. Warframe is insanely successful because players feel compelled to support it. It has been in the top 20 most played and highest rated games on Steam for a decade, and the play count is only rising. If you like a fast-paced, seemingly endless and quickly expanding, well-made live service game, I think you should definitely give Warframe a try. In my opinion, it is the gold standard in fairness and quality of how to make a functioning free-to-play live service game. Because they respect the player, it's why they stick around, even if the game makes mistakes like the Railcheck expansion at launch. And like any game, it still has some problems. Though for me it's just minor things like a cluttered HUD during gameplay, some redundant mods could be improved and other circumstantial systems, but none that meaningfully ruin my enjoyment. Anyway, while this wasn't a review of Warframe, maybe this made you want to give it a try. Let me know what you like or dislike about it. I'm very interested to hear about your opinion. Subscribe to see my next video about developing a small indie game in Unreal and of course other upcoming Warframe projects.
It's really shocking. I think every year you kind of just like you can never take anything in Warframe for granted. It's a very, very, very loose grasp on success and feeling pride, but also feeling humility and the conversation about Warframe and we're responsible for the game and the community meet us where we are. Like the community always meets us wherever we say we're standing. If we're going back to